Hello Natroners and welcome back to another episode of VFX with Natron. And today, being the 5th episode on this long topic of puppet animation, we're going to be finishing up our puppet animation. I say we're going to finish it up because we're going to finish it up no matter what. I don't care how long it takes, it's going to happen. We're wrapping it up. Anyhow, I'm also going to skip over all the niceties in the intro saying, oh, we're going to look at what the goal of today's project is. If you don't know what the project is by this point in time, well, you've got a real problem. I hate to say it. Anyhow, let's get over and right into Natron and look at where we left off. So, over here in Natron, as we might remember, we had worked on trying to get the toes so that of the but if this is the right foot to move. We wanted it to come up at an angle so that when it moved, it was moving in a fluid form so that it looked like there was motion pushing it forward. And you really want that with the foot so that it feels like it's actually driving the movement. And we turned on using the onion skin node, or the onion S as it's called, for onion skin. Shh, you didn't hear that from me, even though I made the node. Yeah, right, long ago, yes. Anyway, and we also had disabled the other legs so that it didn't interfere, and the arm so that it didn't interfere. So we should have what we need right here. Let's get back to the one thing we did lose by shutting this down. It looks like as we've lost our visible keyframes for, I know what's going on. We don't have the actual control selected anymore. That was hidden. Let's minimize it. So, well, actually we don't want to minimize it. We want to see everything. So if my face is covering up some of these controls, I apologize. Let me just double check. It is covering up the bottom ones down here on the left. I apologize. I will attempt to tell you guys anything that I do. Hopefully, enough of it will be seen so that we can, do whatever we need to do. So, as we can see up here in the animation, it's visible over here. You know what? I'm just debating. No, I didn't want to mess with it. I was going to try and move my face over to the other side of the screen, but that could be disastrous if I do it wrong. So, anyhow, we're going to just go with it. I'll try and minimize this to the important. Actually, you know what? We'll just flip up stuff that we're not using. All right. So we've animated the head. We've animated everything. Let's see where we're at. What do we have regarding this? Is the right foot, so we're gonna just hit play for the moment. We're looking at the right leg, and we're just looking at the motion in general. It should loop, and we can see the overall motion. We're not going to worry about too much else. All right, so there we go, 25 frames. All right, so overall, this isn't too bad. We have some problems, obviously, right here with the animation with the leg going too far forward. Also, the leg sort of pokes out the back there for a wee bit, which is also a problem. But I'm not too worried. All right, we're gonna go to the halfway point between. This is our passing pose, all right, where the leg is passing the other leg, and we can see that if we hook up the legs again. Let's see. I believe we want A to go down to the left leg, and then we want A4 to go up to the right or to the arm. There we go. And we're going to disable. We'll just disable the onion skin for right now because we really don't need that. All right, and yeah, all right. So this is the passing pose. I might you know what? I'm looking at it. I'm thinking I want that knee to just poke out a little bit beyond the end of it. Just a smidge. So, right. Let's see. That's the left leg. Oh, no, that's the right leg, the right knee. So we're going to go over here to the right leg, to the calf rotation. And we're going to push that just a few degrees further forward. So it's about there. And, which means I need to rotate the leg up just a smidge so that it looks more like that. I'm just looking at right here, right around his buttocks, where to make sure. But I'm also looking at it and I'm realizing I think I want my leg to move a wee bit to the right a little bit more. So I'm gonna just move this 1 or 2 notches over. I just want to see what it looks like. I think I want my You know what? Nope. I'm not gonna do it. We're gonna bring it back the way it was. We're gonna reduce that. We're gonna pull this back. Let's tell you that was the calf. There. And we'll rotate this over. And we'll let it be right there. Alright, so we're going to go up to this point where the arm, where the leg is forward and the arm is passing. We're going to hide the left arm, or the right arm, excuse me. And we're also going to hide the left leg so that we can see this better. And right here, what we really need to do is focus on trying to get this twisted in such a way that the we need to twist it down so that that leg is touching. So first, let's find out what is it going to take. Can we just bring this down a little bit and make it touch? And the answer is actually yes. I think we can. I think we can get away with right there. That might be just enough. All right, that'd be great. All right, let's bring this back over. Connect that back, those two up, and let's see if I just want to scrub through this a little bit. I think that's looking really high to me. His knee's going up into his crotch. That's not good. All right, we're gonna have to. We definitely need to lower this some, which means, unfortunately, I was wrong. I do need to raise this. All right, we're gonna have to raise this. We're gonna just raise this another. I was really trying to avoid bringing that up that much, but we'll try bringing that up there. Rotating this further around. Let's see. Whoa. Too much. Let's pull that back till it barely is touching. Nope. The problem is we need to rotate this down. What's happening is his leg is actually poking out his rear. So we don't want that. We need to actually rotate this. Oops, wrong thing. That was his foot. We need to rotate this forward a smidge. There we go. I can live with that. All right. So that's where his leg is. And I'd take it back. If I'm going to move it forward, I might as well get that knee out there. Let's rotate the calf down some more. Let's see if we can rotate it down like that. So it's really poking forward, and rotate this back. I want that to really feel like maybe, Can we bring, how far back can we bring this? I want that to really feel, oops, wrong thing. I want that leg to be poking forward. It really, this is not ideal. I don't know why I'm getting something so far off. It was much better before when I did it, but it's just not looking good. I don't like it. I'm just going to leave it right about there. We've got a little bit. We're not going to worry about the fact it's in his, practically in his crotch. All right. And, all right. Let's see how that looks for his walk. Let's give it a just back it up and hit play and let's go through this and now it's very snappy at the end, and the reason that it's snappy is because we have a wow, hold on, we have some animation in there that's not looking good. Hold on. Let me see something. All right, we're going to do some adjustments. Here, his leg is adjusting out, so we need to adjust this in a smidge. So what I'm going to do is go forward a frame, forward a keyframe to there. All right, that is already set, and back behind that once. And here we're going to just adjust this forward right there. And then we're going to go forward one keyframe, and then we're going to adjust this. So what we're trying to do is just keep that right there so that it's nice and round. All right, we're not going to worry about the knee. We can't see the knee. We can see this little bit of the edge of the knee, but we're not going to worry about that too much. We're going to let it be. It's just going to be the way it is. All right, let's see. Is there any other point here that's going to cause problems? Why is that not? There we go. All right, the other leg is too far up here, which means we need to rotate its the thigh area of it down. So between, this is where it's passing. We're going to go forward to, let's find its highest point. I think right there's its highest point. So what we're going to do is take the thigh for the left leg. Again, that's the left leg. The back leg is the left leg. And we're going to rotate this like so, right about there. All right, let's take a look at what that looks like when we back it up. All right. I actually think we might. Now, if people wanted to, they could play with this even more. One thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to double check our the floors to make sure that we're skipping, that we're not touching the floors. So I've selected those. I'm going to unhide them. I want to make sure as we scrub through this that the feet are, wow, that foot is way higher than it needs to be. I don't even, wait a minute, how come we're so far up? That's weird. That leg does not need to be this far up here for the right leg. This can come down quite a bit. Let's take that to 22. I just want to make sure something. Backing it up. All right, right there. I want to pull this part of the leg back a little bit. Nope, right there. We're going to just leave it there. All right. This is the problem with puppet animation, is it doesn't always move exactly as one would like. I'm happy that there. I don't like this. I want to raise that a smidge. Let's raise this a smidge. Whoops, that's the calf. Oop, wrong thing. Let's see. I'm gonna just leave it be. Alright, let's just... I know, I'm tweaking it. It's not perfect. And that just changed this, so we gotta change this back a little bit. I think I'm happy with it there. It's all about trying to just get things to look alright. We have... Alright, there, it's poking out a wee bit, so we want to just pull it forward. I'll just... That's always tricky. Anyway, we're just gonna let it be. And alright, so we have it done. We're gonna just call it here. So we need to get into the next part, which is how do we get the actual stride, which is in order to make this character move forward. Alright, let's first, before we make it move forward, or I should say, let's talk about moving it forward. Let's move it forward and see what the problem is. There's this thing that's going to happen called skating. And skating is where the feet slide across the floor. Alright? And it's going to look like the feet are sliding. And the way, what we're going to do is, we'll just say, for the body, let's twirl up all these other things and open up the character control, because this is where we're going to be animating it. All right, and what we're going to do is we're going to be moving the X translation on this. So we're going to set a key here, and what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, translate X currently is 0. That's where we're starting at, and 1 unit, when it moves to the end of its stride, it needs to be 1 full unit to the right, so that the whole cycle has taken place. So if I go to the end of this, we're at the same thing, but we need to be 1 unit away. And it's going to be a linear motion, by the way. This is always linear because you don't slow down. You slow down when you stop walking, and you slow down when you start walking, but we're not actually going to be picking up and start. This is going to be a character just walking along. If you want to do more, you would, have to do that on your own. That's not what the goal of this. This is just talking about how we would, take this, make a character that's walking from one side of the screen to the other. So, let's just pick an arbitrary number, let's say 100 units, or, whoa, not 1,000, 100 units, all right? And so, as you can see, I moved it 100 units, all right? And so, if we back it up and I hit play, we can see the problem is that the feet, if we were to actually watch this, if we turn on, whoops, I disconnected that by accident. If we turn on the onion skin and look at this as it goes, all right, one of the things we're going to see is that the feet, particularly when they're moving up, they're not the tip of the toe. In particular, this part of the toe is not probably staying planted. It's not bad. I actually got it pretty close, but it's definitely moving back and forth. It's not looking like the foot is staying in one place. It starts off basically here. All right. Watch where our arrow is here. This is where. Let's make sure we're at the actual planted spot. Actually, this is the plant. All right. All right. So this is where the toe should remain the entire process from beginning to end. So from the heel, the point, we can see that if we move that, it's over here now, which is not where it ended. It was at the beginning, in the middle. It was down here at the middle, which is not where it should be. It means it's sliding backwards as that foot is landing. And then as we get to the end of the animation, we can see that instead of being here, the toe's back here. It's not quite. It's actually, we're not quite to the end. There's the end. Oh, no, there's the end right there. So it's back here. So we're off by a bunch of frames. So how do we fix this? First thing we need to do is obviously go to the end, and we need to get rid of that motion. So let's remove that keyframe, so that he's not where he was moved, and we need to do some measurements here. That is the whole purpose of these strides. All right, so we take these, and what we're going to do is we're going to first we're going to figure out the bigger. We need to figure the bigger one first. So let's get to the bigger one, which is let's set this to 12 so that we're moving in complete strides. So we go from, this is the smallest stride, aka this is at one end, and the other's what the heck just happened here? All right, so we click. Oh, we should turn off the onion skin. That's probably slowing things down. All right, so we're gonna click. We're back on frame 1. We've set this to 12. We hit forward once, and so this is our biggest stride. All right, now stride is again the distance from the end of this toe to the end of that toe, and we also want to see the background now as white. So I'm going to enable the white background that we put so we can see those black lines. We're going to, this is the, it doesn't matter which one we use, but we'll just say, I'm going to do, for this one, we're going to use the stride right, which I think is the bigger one. And we'll make it, we just want to make sure that this particular, the size of this, when it's stretched, basically all we've got to do is take this, grab this, pull it up until it's touching the tip of the toe. And by the tip of the toe, we're talking right here where it's basically planting. This is the spot where it starts, all right? And we want to take it out pull it out and match it to the other tip. Now we do that by just grabbing this other one, pulling that up, and let's pull that back. We can actually do that a little bit here. And we want to take it and remove any fractions off of this. So in this case, we'll make this 129 so that it's just to make sure. And then the other one is going to be 99. So that's 99 to there, and make sure that that's on the thing. Nope, it needs to be one higher. So we go there. That's the tip to, nope, one less. So it's 98. So that's our stride. That's our stride, tip to tip. We've gone from the very edge where the sole of the shoe, where it's going to be touching the ground, where it starts going from the front edge of it and starts curving back. That's this little corner right here. That's the tip, all right? And this, where it starts going from the front to the other, that's the other. So that gives us a stride of exactly 98. That's the width of this box, all right? So now we can hide that, and we can unhide the other one, and we go back to the beginning. Now this one's a wee bit harder to do because obviously we have our rear leg is behind our front leg, but it's still there. It still affects it. So what we need to do is temporarily disable it. So we go back up to our layers. This is our right leg, is the front leg. So that's A2 because our right side is off to the right here. So we take A2, disconnect it, gets rid of that. And now we'll take and select the stride left, and we'll pull this forward until it gets here to that corner right there. Let's make sure it's nice and even. Get rid of all that nasty fractions. And that looks pretty good because it comes down, and then right here it looks like it's pretty much straight down, and then it starts curving right about where it is. So I'm happy with that. And remember, we're looking at the black line, not at these like extra little bad colored semi-transparent things. All right, so then we want to reconnect up our leg. So we take A2, which is our left leg, our right leg, excuse me, connect our right leg back up to it and take the end of it, and we'll pull that in until it's about, I'm going to say it's right there. That's pretty good. All right, we're going to say that one is going to be, we're going to just say that's 37. All right, 37, I can live with that. All right, so the length of it is 37. So we have the two numbers together, give us our total stride, all right, for our entire movement. So we take 98 and we add to it 37, and let's pull up a nice calculator and put, let's first of all, let me clear my history book. Oops. Clear history book. All right, so we want 37 plus was 98, and we wind up with a nice 135. So that's our stride length. So if we go back to our character and we move forward to the very end to frame 25 and set our translate to 135. And now we were to hide these strides. In theory, if everything worked correctly, when we hit play, it should look like the foot is staying more or less. It should look like it's not moving at all. If it moves, if it does move, it means I've measured it from a spot that I didn't use at another point. But let's find out. Let's actually unhide one of those stride points. Let's do the stride left. This point here should stay almost exactly even with this, almost the entire length of this. It drifts ever so slightly at the very tail end. If anything, I would say we might be off by this stride is off. Well, no, it isn't. It's there. No, but here it's off. All right, so we are off by, I want to say, we're going to take it back one frame there. And we'll check the other one and just take a look at it as well. Let's move forward a couple frames. So this is where we should be starting our stride for the other one. And obviously, well, I can't measure my stride because it's moved forward in time. Oh, let's just go back to the beginning. Take our character, or actually we need to go to the end. We said 135. Let's zero this again. Let's just zero it. We're going to make it 134 for the right. We want to unhide this one. Whoops, nope, that one. Let's just watch what happens here. All right, we're back at the beginning. Let's see if this moves too much. All right, it's moving. Well, it's moving because... oh, it's the other foot. Whoops, we're looking at the wrong foot. It's the rear foot that we should be looking at, I think. Is that right? I think... oh, we're not going to get it. Oh. Well, we're going to just assume the other one was right. We're going to go to the end and just set it to 134 instead of 135. 134. Instead, let's try that. Let's just make sure our stride length, you know, that's the problem with pixel. It's pixel inaccurate. So let's just take a look-see. And now Interesting. Interesting. Right here we have a problem. The foot, this foot is off of the ground and the other foot is not planted yet. That isn't right. Why is that off the ground? That should not be off the ground. That is skating. We have some skate going on there. Let's, oh boy. Oh, I hate it when some stuff does not go as planned. Alright, let's take a look-see at what's going on here. Something is very, very wrong. Let's pull this up, hide that. Right there. Interesting. Oh, I know what's going on. Alright, we've set up our stride, but we haven't set up our animation. We have not actually adjusted our curves. Right, we need to adjust our curves, because that's going to affect our strides. Alright, so let's pop into our curve editor for the moment. And we need to talk about the fact that things don't always move the way we're expecting, and I'm not thinking about this. We may switch this back to 135. We're not going to do this until we get the rest of the animation. So let's look at our animations. Let's start off. We're not going to look at the character translate first. We're going to look at the neck rotation. So the neck rotation, let's zoom in on this. We select it, we hit F to fit it, and we're going to look at it. And one of the things that we can see is that here we have this nice arc, but here we don't. And the thing that we have to understand is that, what is this? This is a bone moving backwards and forwards. So what we're going to want it to do, if it's a pivoting bone in a part that's actually slowing, where it's going to ease back and forth, it probably means that we want this area to be eased as well. And because it ends exactly at the passing pose, what we're going to do is we're going to select these two keys and we're going to switch the interpolation to horizontal, which is going to change it to that. And here at the midpoints, I think we're going to delete those two frames. We're just going to, those aren't needed. They should automatically, I'm looking at this and I think if I just delete it, we're going to wind up with something that should be very close to what it was. All right, let's go back to our torso. Our torso should be very, very similar. We're winding up with something. If we go here, we select them, we right click, we go to interpolation, horizontal, select those points. Let's select those, let's hit delete, and let's just look at what's happened here with our torso. All right, our torso should now be rotating much more in lines with where it should be, as opposed to where we dictated it. I would rather try to get it to do certain things like the torso area all by its own, all by its lonesome. All right, so the waist. Now, the waist is an interesting one. The waist is also rotating. This is translation. So this is going to translate up, and then it's going to come down, and it's going to ease at the bottom, because it's going to, as the foot impacts, it's going to slow down. So this also should probably have easing on it, on all these. This is remember, this is the top of it when the body hits its highest point, and this is where it hits the floor. All right, and it's going, when the foot hits the floor, the body's going to keep going down a wee bit. So we're gonna, for the moment, we're gonna just set this to interpolation, horizontal interpolation for that, because we want that to work, and that's going to be the Y, just so we're aware. For the rotation, it's also going to rotate. We're going to ease in the rotation, which means we're going to grab this and we're going to set this to interpolation, horizontal. We're going to also change this, the rotation here, the waist rotation. Let's delete that. I want to try and see this. And this is going to alter our animation, but we're going to alter it to, we're going to try and fix it relative to this. See if this fixes things. All right, let's take a look here. This is the shoulder rotation. Shoulder, again. Let's smooth interpolation. Let's horizontal. Elbow, this is linear because, well, no, we can, I think we can ease this as well. Interpolation. Let's do horizontal interpolation. Elbow rotate. Whoops. Elbow. Where did that go? Whoops. I just lost it. Hold on. There it is. Elbow rotate. Interpolation. Horizontal. Shoulder rotate for the other shoulder. We want to rotate that horizontal. And the reason I'm doing that, whoa, I didn't want to do what I just did. The reason I'm doing this is that these are, you can see these are perfect weights. This is perfectly curving down. If it looks like it's a half a curve, a sine wave, and it's happening at the exact start and the end, then you want to make that happen exactly at the start and the end. You want to start off for the time being. We're going to do horizontal interpolation because this should be repeatable. It should repeat itself consistently as it cycles. It should ease up and ease down. You never stop abruptly, except for in certain situations, like if your foot comes down and hits the floor, then you're gonna, the foot is going to impact and there's going to be a hard stop because the floor won't let the leg go any further. But that translation downwards is going to go up the leg and get absorbed by the pelvic or by the waist, which is going to ease down, which is why we have it ease as it translates down. All right, so here's the elbow, which is also going to do the same thing. Interpolation, this should be horizontal, creating a sine wave. Thigh rotation. Now this is a different thing. All right, this is probably, and I'm going to speculate here. The thigh is probably going to work in a linear fashion, and the reason is because believe it or not, that 90% of the thigh is going to be driven by what's happening at the foot and by what the waist is doing, and it's going to follow. There's a kinematic chain, an automatic kinematic change that happens between the waist and the feet. So this probably, if we just what we probably have been doing, I'm going to just, for right now, I'm going to delete these points, these extra points, select all this, and switch it from, oh, interesting. We're going to switch this for the moment to linear. I just want to set it to linear for right now. And the reason is that I want the thigh to try and track. We're gonna once we get this all done, I may go back and I may fix these on a frame by frame basis. But if it tracks linearly after everything is set, it probably is going to work. You can see now this is a different story. All right, this is the calf, which is going to be driven mostly linearly down to this point. You can see there's almost a linear point, but then there's going to be an easing that's going to happen as from the impact, because the ankle is going to move, rotate to compensate. And that might mean over here we may need to put in some keyframes. But for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and I'm going to tell it here, I want this to be linear interpolation to that point, and then I'm going to let it ease there, and I'm going to keep it linear there. I'm just going to do this same with the other foot. For right now, some people are probably going, what in the world is he doing? I've just had good luck with this technique in the past. All right, this is the left leg translate. All right, now this is getting weird. Let's look at this. All right, this is the left leg translate. Right, So this is another situation. As I said, this is a movement. We're moving forward in space. We don't slow down as we're going through this. This is why the foot is skating, is because it's not working in a linear motion. We don't slow down as we take a step. We hit our leg and our body is trying to move forward in a smooth, even fashion. So this isn't going to be a completely linear motion. In fact, we can sort of see that happening here. It's linear here. This is just not linear here because of well, here, watch. We're going to set this to linear, like so. And then we're going to remove these two keyframes right there. And we're going to do the same. All right, so this is now the Y movement, which is the up-down. The up-down movement is not necessarily going to be. This is going to be more eased translation. The Y movement is going to, except for when it hits the ground. When it hits the ground, except for we actually, well, we'll see. I'm going to leave this right now. This is, I'm not going to touch this because we may be modifying this in a very short while, due to the fact that this is the middle of an S-curve. You can see this, that this is where the foot is at its low point, and which means this is going to continue upwards at this point, and we want to make this cyclic. So we're going to have to see about that. So I'm going to leave that untouched at the moment. Let's go back here. All right, this is the left thigh rotate. Let's make this linear. Interpolation. I'm going to set this to linear. We're going to get rid of that for the moment, and we're going to, we may put that point back in because after it's all done, as I say. Let's go back to the calf. This also should be linear. I think the calf is the calf. No, wait, is the calf? Yes, I think the calf is going to be linear. Interpolation, linear. We're going to do the calf linear to there, and then what I'm going to do is go to the passing. Let me just see something here. Find where, well, we're going to do the calf as, you know what, I'm going to go back to the other calf, and we're going to set that one to linear as well for the moment. Interpolation, linear, just to be on the safe side. Wait a minute. Is that that's a calf? Left calf rotate, yes. I'm gonna get rid of that point. Actually, no, that is that. Yeah, yes. I'm just eyeballing this, is thinking about what I'm doing. We're gonna let this be, yes, we're gonna delete those points for right now. We can always adjust it later. I'm gonna get rid of those for right now. And we're gonna try. Alright, left calf rotate, calf rotate. Whoops. Going down, scrolling down. Foot rotate. Alright. We said for the foot, I believe. For the other foot, I kept it. Alright, this is the one I wanted to keep. Right. This is the part we keep not, and this is the part we're going to keep linear. Interpolation, linear from there to there. This is probably going to need a keyframe, and we can see it's breaking some stuff. We've got some broken stuff going on there. But for right now, we're not going to worry too much. Let's look at this. Focus in. All right. And this. All right. So, all right. This is the X, which should be linear at one point. All right. So I'm betting that this needs to be set to interpolation linear, because this is the motion. This should be completely smooth. Should be an up-down arc. So we're going to remove that altogether. The Y should be the rotation. All right, let's just go back and look at this. We're going to go through this frame by frame. All right, and we can see that things are broken. We've broken things, but we've also fixed some things. First of all, we'll notice that our stride length is probably looking a lot more accurate now, because it's completely, when the heel hits, we can see, watch this rotation right here. That's rotating right around this toe. When it hits and plants, it should stay almost completely stationary. There we go. That's looking really good. All right. Well, for the most part, I think, hard to say. I think it's looking okay. Let's keep going. Let's work with this. All right. So we got to fix what we broke. All right. So let's go back to our frames, or our animation, and look at what we broke. For the most part, for the time being, I'm gonna remove the forward movement here. We're gonna remove this key so that we see this all moving as in one place. All right, we're going back to the beginning. Gonna move forward. I want this to happen. All right. So first thing we're seeing, we're gonna move in units of 3 this time. All right. So we go back in time to the beginning, move forward, head 3. All right, at 3 and 6. Actually, we're going to do 6. I'm sorry. 6 is where we're going to start off with. We're going to try and fix it at the passing pose. So at this passing pose is the only thing that should be, we want to fix is the left leg, which is not at its proper rotation point now anymore. It looks wrong, but it also looks more right. The right leg, interestingly, all right, this, let's pull this back, 0. The calf rotate, we know this has to be 0. This is correct. So, because this is the passing pose, this is perfectly vertical. All right, so this is the right leg. Let's find our right leg on here. That was right calf. So right leg, calf rotate. Whoops, we want to go to the curve. Is that right? Hold on. Right leg, calf rotate. Here we go. That's where we've set it. So that's what it's saying. Interesting. Aha! There we go. All right. So we're going to do a linear translation, interpolation, linear from there to there. All right. We're going to actually make this whole thing linear. Linear interpolation. All right. And we're going to take that waist. We can see that the waist is off as well. We want to move the waist's X position over so that it is zeroed as well. So this should be 0, and it's not. Why is this not zeroed? That's odd. It says, according to this, does that not look? That's its X translation says it's 1.5, but it should be 0. Oh, that's a waist. The leg is where it should be. Oh, whoops. We was on the wrong thing. That's the right leg translate. So right leg translate. We want to go back to the X position here. Let's look at that. And we want to make this interpolation, linear interpolation right there. All right. I want to keep that because the reason that we're keeping it linear is because the reason this movement is linear is because we're keeping that foot planted. This movement, even though it looks like it's moving and back and forth, what we're doing is we're actually keeping it locked in place as it moves back and forth, and that is going to help it in its forward to backwards, right left movement. That is, it should always remain linear. It should only move when we tell it to. So as we scrub through this, it should Yes, that's looking quite nice. All right, let's look at the other leg. All right, so there we go. All right, we've got that one. That's at 0. We need to go and all right, that has fixed the leg relative to the body. Notice we didn't counter rotate the hip, the right hip. Let's make sure the right thigh. Did we put a new keyframe in there? We didn't need to put a keyframe in there. It should remain 0. It's fine. All right. Let's go to the. Let's make sure that the whole leg, the waist is moving correctly. It's looking good right there. We have some. The thigh here is not rotating correctly to match. All right. So we're not going to rotate. This is a point where we're not going to rotate the, and by the way, that's the reason we keep the thigh. We keep this rotation keyframe here. It's because we're going to be counter rotating from the midpoint, from the passing pose backwards to fix that thigh so that it always tracks to that point. So that it moves with it as it goes back to there. All right. So we're going to take it to the midpoint, which is right here, halfway between the two. And we're going to counter rotate that thigh first. All right, that is the right thigh. We're on the right leg, which means we need to counter rotate this. We're going to do it like so, till it's about there. And that looks good. So let's go back a frame and look at that. It matches. It matches. It matches. Perfect. That's good. 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 Looks all right. Not so good there. All right. That's definitely wrong there. All right. So the problem right now is right here. The thigh is not where it needs to be, given that the foot is where it's at its actual end position. So what we need to do is we actually, all right, so the problem, as I can see here, is that our calf has not been rotated back to the correct angle. So let's rotate it back. That's at the point where it needs to be. So we need to rotate the calf back to there. All right. Let's step it back in time. Back in time. Back in time. All right, that means let's try removing this key for our thigh rotate because the calf was compensating. Let's remove the key. There we go. All right, maybe it was the calf that was off. There we go, looking good. All right, it was the calf that was off. And that fixed everything. That's a little off, but I'm not worried. It's close enough that I think I can accept it. I'm just checking. What I'm looking at is this area. Now, I'm not worried about it not lining up because at this point, the legs in front, we're more worried about from the rear, the buttocks, and how it lines up. All right, so here we have a problem with the calf on the back side. This is not lining up properly. We need to bring the rear end of the buttocks back to line up. So we're going to take this back to and this is the point where it's going to be completely driven. So we'll take it to the halfway point. Okay, and remember that we go to the end. All right, whoops, sorry, that wasn't the end. We go to the end. We're going to set this to 3 frames. All right, 3 frames. If I go back exactly, oops, that's not right. I did something. What did I hit? I hit 3 and I hit return. What was 3? What did that do? I entered a number. I don't know. Oh, I switched the input for my viewer node to 3. If I did anything. All right, let me just make sure I didn't. I wasn't clicked in the right spot. That can be bad. You got to make sure you're selected here. Hit 3, then we're at the last keyframe. We go back 3 frames. All right, so here's the passing frame. This is the midpoint of this thigh rotating back. So this is going to be the thigh. So we're going to fix the thigh by rotating this until we fix it, until it lines up with the buttocks area of the body, and we can see that the knee needs to move forward, obviously, to make this work. So we need to rotate the knee forward in order to keep that correct. All right, and back, and there, and we're going to just keep rotating this until we get it there. You'll notice that now the right here, the curve is coming in. It's touching this corner here, and the thigh is not going past the rear end of the character, so it's looking fine. All right, we're gonna just leave it be, and we're gonna just manually walk through it, step through this, and just see how it's looking. Now the hand's in front of it, so we're not gonna worry too much. I think that it's off. I'm actually going to hide the hand just to make sure, because it does look like this is dropping down too much here, which I don't want it to do. So I am going to, for the moment, disconnect that arm, and I'm going to see if... No, that actually is where we want it to be. All right. I'm just stepping through this. I'm making sure. All right, we're good. That looks good for that leg. All right. Next. All right, let's rehook up that arm. We're going to finish this. I guarantee we're going to finish this. All right, and now we're going to go to the other leg. We have our walk cycle there. We're past the point. All right, we need to go back. Well, let's go to the beginning, and we're going to go 3 frame. We're going to watch the other leg. The other leg's not going to be quite as important to watch. What we really need to do is look at the calf, where the thigh is, and make sure that leg, that's going to be the left thigh. Whoops, the left thigh here. As it goes up, we need to make sure it counter rotates so that it doesn't go past the hip. All right, so we're going to go back to the beginning. We're going to go 3 frames forward. All right, and we can see it's sticking out past. All right, so this is where we count it. We fix this. Oops, I'm using the wrong thing. Let's remove that key. I was on the wrong leg. That was the right leg. Go to the left leg. Let's take the thigh. It's at 50. We're going to just keep adjusting this until it's back somewhere around there. I can live with it there. Let's go. Let's keep frame through this. Let's go back a couple frames. All right, here we have a problem. It looks like the calf is, the thigh has broken away. That, at this point, is going to be caused because that is probably because well, all right. That could be caused by the calf, or the calf being not at the right place, or it could be caused by the thigh. So what I think I'm going to call it, because this is passing, this is in the rear. Let's just go back. So that's correct. What I'm going to do is we're going to correct it at the thigh. I'm not going to worry too much. We're going to fix this here if we can. No, we can't. All right. So we're going to remove this key, and we're going to fix it with the calf rotation. We're going to pull this forward until the calf starts to fix it. All right. Now the calf is lined up. All right. And we're going to pull back the thigh. We're just going to keep playing this until the two sort of line up. It's going to make sense. Whoops. Just wanted to click off of that so I can get to this 5 and pull this forward a smidge more. I'm going to overshoot it past it a little bit so that I can take this other one. When I scroll over it, get that 31 and back it off until the thigh looks more vertical. It's still off. All right, let's click over here, 40. Let's pull this forward. Again, it doesn't, we can overshoot this a bit. It's better to have it going back a bit than it is to have it, or have it going forward a bit than it is to have it going back. All right, so let's go like that, and there we go. I can live with that right there. That's looking good. So previous frame, it looks like that, and then we have this, that, and there's our passing pose. All right, so now this has modified this altogether, which, let's just make sure, I just want to see something here. All right, this is our passing pose. All right, we can see that the calf has been modified. All right, our thigh is too high here, so our thigh rotation needs to come back. So we're going to take that thigh back till there. I can live with that. That's where the thigh is correct. All right, we're going to just set this to linear interpolation, because from that point forward, interpolation, let's make it linear. And so when we go from there, I want to make sure here, as it's straightening out, we'll fix it in a minute. I just want to see something. At this point, we're going to delete that frame. All right, because it was bulging. This is where we fixed both the calf and the thigh. All right, so here we go. Forward, forward, forward. Looking good, looking good. Looking good there. Now, this is where the thigh is too high, too high, too high. All right, so we're going to go back. And remember, I said we always work at the midpoints. Right here, we're going to be, we move 3 frames between. It's a 6 frames between this point and the other point. So this is where we need to make our compensation with this rotation of the thigh, which we're going to just pull back until it's as far back as we can, while keeping it looking decent. You know what? All of this is really ridiculous. So I don't know that it matters too much. We can just pull it back. Let's just see what happens as we pull it back here. And there we go. We can see that that keeps the leg looking proper, or the hip area looking proper for passing. It's good enough. So now it looks like his knee is actually passing as it goes by. Let's also double check our other leg. I want to make sure of one thing here. I want to, for our thigh, I have a feeling, wait a minute, where is that passing pose? That is supposed to be the passing pose, isn't it? No. 1 frame forward. That's the passing pose. He's not passing. He's off. Oh, fool. I did all that animation and I realized my problem was my leg is not translated to the proper position. We haven't zeroed the things out. These should be all 0. 0. This should be 0. This should not, because we determined that it was off. 0. There we go. Uh-oh. Which meant, oh, fool. All right, let's fix it. 3 frames back. All right, does that look all right? Are we okay with this? That should be... Is the foot down? The foot should be touching. It's rotating down. Yes, the foot is down. We're going forward. I can live with it. 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 I can live with everything in there. All right. Let's start. Just watch our cycle one time. It's not perfect. I really don't like how that leg is bending, but it's good enough for what our needs are. All right. We need to do one more thing, which is to fix the frames that are half cycles, because this has to continue as a loop All right. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's find one of the points that is a cycle. Let's just over. Oh yes, this needs to be linear. Interpolation. This should be. Wait, is that? That's the leg. Translate. Yeah, this needs to be linear. The X here needs to be linear. I need to make sure this is linear because I just realized I didn't double check that. Yes, this one right here is linear, linear. All right, we need to rewatch that animation a little closer. There, linear, 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 linear. Good, 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 good. All right, it's good. Everything's good. All right, as I was saying, so the problem we have is this stuff right here. This is a half cycle. This is halfway through its cycle. If I were to loop this, the problem is this isn't going, well, that lines up. The action from this curve here to this point on this curve here does not line up in such a way that the motion is going to be smooth. So we need to make it so that what comes off here is what goes into the other side. And so what that means is we ultimately are going to, we need to figure out what makes this cycle. So in order to do that, we have to go back in time. So we need to actually set our first frame back. I'm going to set it to minus 12 keyframes. Oh, so I'm going to go to negative 12. All right. And I'm going to go back to the beginning. I'm going to go all the way back to the start. So we'll go over here and we'll keep going forward until we get to keyframe. All right, so there we are. We should be, wait a minute, it's not right. We're off by a frame. That's right, it shouldn't be negative 12, it should be negative 11. All right, so we'll go back to the beginning. When we go forward, 12 by increments of 12, we end up at frame 1 here. All right, so what this is telling us is that one keyframe, if we go 1 step 3 back in time, this should be the low point. The same point in time is this. So if I go all the way to the end, or all the way forward to the end, and I go back 6, excuse me, it's going to be 6 keys, 6 frames. All right, let's change that to 6 then. 6, all right. So from here to here, 6 frames. I want to copy all these values and have them, or at least all the values that matter. The Y movement is the main thing we're after here, which is this. It needs to be at negative 1. We need to make it 0 and negative 1. So we're going to go backwards, 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 and then we're going to go 1 past that and set this to minus 1, hit return. And as we can see, that makes it look wonky. We select that keyframe. We tell it the interpolation is horizontal. And when we do that, we can see what it's done here. It's made it look sort of weird, but we're going to do the same thing in the opposite direction. So here, we're going to add another, we're basically going to go to the end and we're going to add, plus 12 to there. So I'm going to just say, I don't know if I can actually do that. Let me just see something. If I hit plus 12, nope, that's not going to do it. So we're just going to go to the end here. We're going to say 25 to 35 plus 2, 1, so 36, 37. So we should be at, I think 37 should be right. So if we set this to 37 here, and we go back 2 of these, 1, 2, nope, it should be 38. Go. I'm just going to go forward. We're at 25. 1, 2. And we're at, all right, it says it's 37. 1, 2. There we are. All right, it was right before. So 37 is where we want to be. So we're going to go back. What we need to do is at frame 37, we want to have the top of the keyframe. We don't want to look at this one. This is not an actual keyframe we want to keep. And I'll explain why when we get back here. So we're going to go back to this point here. All right. And we're going to copy. This is 26. We can actually set this to 12, I think. If we say 12, let's do 12. Or actually, if I say change that to, excuse me, to 24 frames, that will move it forward in time exactly the same thing. So if we go back to the beginning, that's 26 is the Y, which is what we're looking at. Go forward. So this here should be 26. All right. And we should take that and we should set the interpolation to horizontal. And then we can get rid of this keyframe and that keyframe. And now we have what should be the perfect alignment for that. So that should work perfectly smooth at this point. If everything works perfect. That's the leg translate wide, mind you. Now, what that also means is that we may have to adjust the frame. And this is the left leg, so we're not looking, that's the right leg right there. We're not looking at the right leg, we're looking at the left leg, which we don't actually, I don't think it's going to matter all that much because it's happening behind the scenes. So I'm just looking at the back leg. It looks fine to me. It's good enough. It's hidden by the other leg. So we're going to go to the right leg and we're going to do the same thing. All right. We can see it's also halfway through. We're going to hit F to fit it. And we're going to go back to the beginning, or we're going to find our way to one of those midpoints. All right. So here, what we want to do is move back 12 frames. So, actually, no, we want to move ahead 24 frames. So here we have it. The Y value for the right leg is 0. So we can see it's 0. So if we go 24 frames forward, right here, this Y value should be also 0. So we hit OK. Select that point. Interpolation. It should be horizontal interpolation, which should, in theory, now we can see that this is looking very, very wonky in here, which may mean we may play with that. We're going to have to see. This could change. We may change this a bit. We shall see. We're going to leave it for the moment. I'm not going to mess with that yet. All right. Let's go back. We want to go back 12 frames. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 frames. We're going to say it's negative. It's 22. So, excuse me. We're going to go back 24 frames. Set that to 22. Hit OK. Select that keyframe. Interpolation. Horizontal. And that's what that says it should be. So, now, here's the big question. Is this correct? Now, this is different because this foot is actually at this point hitting the ground. So we could, we may need to, I just want to look at that foot, all right? This foot, in theory, should not be moving, or should be moving to compensate, all right? But if that's the case, we may need to actually get this keyframe here, because this is actually visible. This is all the foot keeping its foot position planted. In theory, that should have kept it planted if everything worked right. Oh, that makes me nervous. I really don't like it. I feel like we should delete these. I feel like we want to. You know what? I'm going to save it just in case. Save project. Oh boy, we're running long. I told you we're going to do this. For now, we're going to leave it be. I'm going to leave it be. I just don't trust myself to leave it. Which means for the time being, just to make sure that our animation is completely cyclic, we want to make sure that this frame it that frame? No. I need to make sure of something. Our last frame is 24. All right, yes. This is where we want it to be. We need to, we want to get, it's going to be 23, and we need it to be 4. So we're going to go back to the beginning. We're going to go back 24 frames. Wait, that is already there. All right, we're going to go back 3 frames from there and go back. That's the spot right there. All right, so this should be 20. And so here, this should be 20. All right, that is setting it up so that the motion through this, when we loop this animation, it's going to loop, hopefully, that section correctly. All right, let's look through the rest of our animations, make sure everything's good. That I want to keep there. That we're going to keep there. Oh boy. That's... Oh, that should be linear, but we're going to do... All right. I'm not going to do anything to that. Let's look at that. We're going to leave that be. That's correct. Is this one. That's the leg. All right, we're just going through the limbs. We should be dealing with shoulders. Are the shoulders cyclical? That's easing. That's perfect. A perfect ease. And the perfect ease. All right, now that's another thing. Shoulders lead the motion. We need to bring the shoulders actually have to hit their pose. They have to get to their pose 1 frame before to the maximum, the most forward and the most back 1 frame before everything else, before the actual limbs do. So what that means is where this is here, it needs to happen actually 1 frame prior to that. Or in theory, if that is the stride, we need it to hit that point beforehand. So I want to find the shoulder rotation. Let's get the right one, because that's the one that's going to be the most noticeable. Let's see. I'm in the left shoulder. Right, no, wait a minute. That's the right shoulder. That's correct. Here. Where is our shoulder? Right arm shoulder. All right, we're going to go forward a frame. Here, it's 25. I'm going to go back a frame. Here it should be at, this should be at 25, and I'm not going to worry too much about the actual elbow. We'll let that sort of take its course, and then it should start back. All right, and then we're going to go back to this point here. We're going to find out what it is here. It's -15. We're going to go back 1 frame here because this is in our cycle range, and we're going to set this to 15, -15. All right. And then we're going to go to the other shoulder, to the other arm, and we want to get that, or the other shoulder, should be the left shoulder. Again, that should be 20. And we're going to go back 12 frames. We can just grab this and drag it back there. And that should be -15. And that's because we want what we want to have happen is we want the arms to be driving the motion, which is it makes it look like that arm got there just before the leg does. And it makes it, because the arm is actually the thing that's driving it forward. And that's going to actually make the whole thing, the whole animation look a lot more smooth when we render it. All right, we're going to hit play. It is causing a wee bit of a problem here. Oh, yes. I was like, that's not looking right. That's looking wrong because we've reset it. All right, we need to set this back to our frame range, which was 1. Was somebody just texted me on my phone, which I shouldn't be doing. If it is who you think it is. Anyway, 1. And we're going to set this to 25. And we're going to play our animation. And we're going to just, I know this is a very long thing. We're going to look at it one more time. I hate to say it, but we're going to call that good enough. And we're going to do put our stride back in there. We said our stride was, oh, wait a minute. No, our stride was 134, I believe it was, which we got to on our thing. We go to our character. We go to our last frame. And what we're going to do is we're going to just take this and set it to 134. All right. And so how do we turn this into actual animation? All right. Oh, I'm stuttering on my thing, which is not good. All right. How do we make this happen? All right. So let's make this all happen. Let's just change this. I'm going to change this so that instead of this, we're going to resize this so that this is actually our project is now going to be 120 frames. Or I mean, it's a 1920 by 1080. All right. How are we going to do this? First things first. Let's the easiest thing is going to be to change this to pull up our project settings, hit S, change this to our project settings to HD. All right. And then change this, force our animation, which should happen right here automatically. There we go. To that. All right. And, all right. We have a problem here, which is our motion is occurring on our character. This is a problem. All right. So, we need to, I need to move this. All right, we're going to remove this character animation. Oh, I hate to do this. We need to remove animation. We need to zero this out because the problem is this is happening. All right, remove animation. The problem is that's happening in a little windowed section. What we need to do is have it happen after that, but before our window. So we need to add 2 translates in here. That basically that control's no good for what we need it to be. We're gonna hit. We're gonna add 2 translates here, and we're not gonna connect that. We're gonna add a translate there and add another translate there. All right, the first one is going to be the one that moves our character. So we're gonna go back to frame 0. We're gonna set a key on all dimensions. We're gonna go to the end. We're going to set this to 134. It's basically the same thing. All right. And then, whoops, our second animation, our second one, translate, is going to be the thing that actually is going to be used for offsetting it. So we're not going to use, we're going to offset this afterwards, but what we need to do is take this and loop it. All right. So how do we loop it? We're going to go to our curve editor and we're going to take our X position, which is where our animation should be happening. And let's focus on it. And there it is. And if I click on this, the easiest way to do this is if I simply just because this is a linear motion, if I right click on, select both keyframes and I tell it that the interpolation is capital ROM, it's going to make it go on indefinitely. So now when we hit play, our character is going to keep on moving, but our animation cycle is not. And so he's going to move at the same pace. Oh, wait, we also need to, of course, change our final frame from 25 to 250. Whoops. Okay, go back here. I think we just connected. I don't know what I just did. I did something wrong. Let's Control Z that. Uh-oh, that's no good. Control Shift Z. Oh, my gosh. I think I just screwed things up very badly. All right, let's just disconnect that, reconnect it. Let's make sure here, make sure you're hovering over this when you hit your 0. I really hate that aspect of Natron. You need to be hovering over it in order to get the frame. All right, let's make sure when we get to the end. There we go. He's moved all the way to the other end. It turns out in order to make our entire animation happen, this actually has to be 400 frames, or 400 frames. All right, I'm going to just make it happen over 400 frames, which is going to move him off the end of the screen. I'm not going to worry about it. We'll move him off the other end at the beginning. That's what our second translation is going to be. All right, so this one, what's our next thing? We need to make, basically we need to do the same thing. We need to loop all our animations. So let's go back to our character controls. All right, let's go to our curves, start off at the top, go through these, and let's focus on everything. Oops, that's not what we want. We want to, let's hide that translation just so it's not interfering, and go back to our controls. Let's go here, go to our neck rotation. All right, and we're going to select it. So we click on this curve itself. We'll hit F, select this curve, right click on it, and go down to predefine and hit loop. All right, and when I hit loop, it's going to pull this up. We want to set this, the loop is going to be from frame 1 to loop, last frame is going to be frame 24. And if we've done this right, and when we hit OK, we should wind up with a completely looping cycle. Go to the torso, all right? Do the exact same thing. Click on it, right click, predefine, loop. First frame is going to be 1, last frame is going to be frame 24, and hit OK, and that's going to loop it. We're going to do that for every single one of these frames, all right? We're going to check this, hit F, F, make sure that's unanimated, don't need it. We're going to select this, there we go, select the curve, right click, hit loop, first frame, 1, 24, hit OK. And when we get done, we would have our entire animation. If we go through all the controls, we will wind up with it. I'm going to go through this because I don't have this. Loop, 1, tab, 2, 4. I want to make sure we've gone through this so that we can be positive this is 100% working. This is a shoulder, interpolation, whoops, not interpolation, loop, predefined loop, 1, 24, elbow scale, right, select this, select the curve, interpolate, oh no, predefined loop, 1, 24. I know this is a very long episode. If you want to do this on your own, you can do it. You know what it's going to end up being. This should cause it. What we would do at the end, just so everybody knows, I'm going to do the last bit, which is the positioning. So obviously, this last one is our position, because our character's starting here. What we want to do is we want it to start on frame 1, which is at the beginning of our animation. We want to offset this so that it's behind off screen. So we're going to just take our character's start position, and we can actually just move it back in time. Why is that not moving the right thing? That should have moved the character. Why is that not moving the character? Oh, whoops. Or I did the wrong thing. It doesn't matter. That was the wrong thing. You want to take the transform and move it. What the heck? That's transform X. Why is that? Well, that's really weird. Something's weird, really weird. I want to make sure of something here. We want to move. Uh-oh. Don't tell me did I move the one that was animated? Oh, crumbs. Oh, boy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I think I moved the wrong one. 151. Let's go back to the beginning. Uh-oh. Shoot. Should be 9150. 9150. So this needs to be set back to 91. 91. Nope. It was 1. Alright, let me just make sure of something here. 151. I just want to make sure we're getting what we're supposed to be getting. I'm not seeing it. It's not looking right. Oh boy. Uh-oh. we've lost our animation. Don't move the wrong control. I moved the center accidentally. My apologies. I have screwed up everything. And this is one of the big problems with Natron, is if you do the wrong control at the wrong time, you can end up costing everything. I don't know where our character is at this point in time. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone. I don't see him. I don't understand why he's not there. He should be. Let's just see if we can figure out where he went. There he is. He's there. He's there. He's there. All right. And then he's gone. That's the problem. All right. If that's the problem, we're going to go back to the beginning. All right. Let's add a translate there, and the new translate, we're going to pull them off screen. That's interesting. If I pull him off screen, this should still work. Let me just see something here. -1 should not make him disappear. But he most certainly is. Natron's doing something very, very weird here. I do not know why that's happening. Maybe I do. Maybe it's because of this crop. Maybe I don't want the crop at all. Let's try. Uh-oh. No, it's not the crop. It's the whole animation. All right, well, this doesn't make any sense to me why that's happening now. We've taken it after the anime. I take the whole animation. Let me try reversing these two just to make sure I'm not doing this in reverse. I'm doing it there. Let's see what happens if we take this and translate it. Oh no, wrong thing, wrong thing. I'll pull it back 1, 2, 3. All right, this seems to be working. All right, we've got it working. There it is. Now, as we play it, that character should be on the screen, but he's disappeared. Yet he's there here. Natron's doing something. I can't tell you what it is. All right. We're going to call it here because this is going to be the end of the animation. I will upload the final project with I'm shooting Natron because this is not what it's supposed to have done. I will upload the final project. I apologize. I cannot tell you why Natron is doing this. It's clearly what it's doing is it's not rendering it off frame. It worked fine in my test animation that I had done earlier, where obviously, because I had it walk across the screen, I did the exact same thing. I can't tell you why on the 4th of July it worked and it doesn't work now. We are going to save this as a new increment. I will try to track it down, and if by the next episode of this, or at least by next Saturday, because Monday I will be doing a different episode. If by the episode or next Saturday I figure out why this one's not doing what it's supposed to do, because I'm positive this worked in the past. I don't know what's going on. Something weird is definitely going on here, Anyway, we're going to do a new project version. I apologize. I will fix it. That's how you do the looping. You basically, you right click, you loop everything, and it should continue onward. The only thing I can think of is maybe because we haven't looped all the animations, it may be not doing it, or something along those lines, or it could be caused by the onion skin or one of the other things in the way, or perhaps remember I talked about a roto causing me. Oh my gosh, if it's the rotos, I thought I had that fixed. Let me just double check the rotos. Oh my gosh, if the rotos, check your rotos. Oh, if it's the rotos, I'll report it in the next episode. All right, we're gonna call it today. All right. Oh, I will fix this. I promise you all, I will fix this. We will get this done. But till next time, have a great Natron day.